All right, we are going to get into Unit 7, Lesson 1, Operations with Functions. So a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. So if I have two functions that I'm going to add together, f plus g of x, that's the same thing as just doing f of x plus g of x. So here's our first example here. F plus g of x, this is f of x, and this is g of x. This is going to be f of x plus g of x. So what is f of x? F of x is this whole thing here. That's f of x plus g of x is 6x plus 2. And now this is just like what we've done a bunch of times before, right? It's just combining like terms. The parentheses in this case don't really affect anything. In fact, they don't at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and combine like terms. I have my 4x squared, 3x and 6x gets 9x, and then the minus 1 plus 2 is a positive 1. Okay, now for part B, I have f minus g of x. F minus g of x just means I do f of x minus g of x. Okay, f of x minus g of x. So again, I'm going to take f of x, which is 4x squared plus 3x minus 1, minus g of x. And we've talked about this before as well. And what you have to remember is that this subtraction applies to everything in that second parentheses. So this is going to be 4x squared plus 3x minus 1 minus 6x, but also minus 2. So now I can combine like terms. I have 4x squared, 3x minus 6x is minus 3x, and then I have a negative 1 and a negative 2 to get a minus 3. So that is addition and subtraction. And now we're going to look at multiplication and division. And guys, it's pretty much the same idea, okay? So down here, now I have a new f of x and a new g of x. And this means f times g of x. So guess what? I'm going to do f of x times g of x. So I'm going to take f of x and multiply it by x minus 4. And we've done this before as well. You're just going to multiply everything out. So first I'm going to go through and multiply x squared by everything. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 4 is negative 4x squared. Now I'm going to distribute the negative x. Negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times negative 4 is plus 4x. Now I distribute the minus 12. Negative 12 times x is minus 12x. Negative 12 times negative 4 is plus 48. Last thing would be to combine any like terms. X cubes all by itself, I got those x squared terms that go together, and then those x terms that go together, plus 48. Okay, I'll give you a minute to get caught up while I talk about our final operation. Now, let's talk about the word operation. You all have heard the expression order of operations, right? PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, and then what comes next? Multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Those are the 4 basic operations of math. It's what you learn to do when you're in elementary school. You learn addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And so when we say operations with functions, we are performing those 4 operations on multiple functions, right? And we've really been doing all of these already, okay? You just haven't realized it yet. So Addition and subtraction and multiplication should all be pretty straightforward. However, division is the one that always causes the most questions. And here is the key. You have to factor. Okay. So first thing is that f divided by g of x means that I'm going to have f of x divided by g of x. So I have x squared minus x minus 12 over x minus 4. Okay. Now, what did I say? The rule with this is to factor. In the top of this fraction is something that I can factor. To get x squared, I have to have x and x. To get 12, I either have 1 and 12, or 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. To get a minus x, I'm going to have x plus 3 and x minus 4. On the bottom, there's nothing I can do. However, since I have a fraction where the top and the bottom have something in common, I can cancel that out. And this will simplify just to x plus 3. So let me do one more example. Let's say I have, these two new functions. So go ahead and, if you have to pause the video to write these down, go ahead and write them down. I have a new f of x and I have a new g of x. F of x is x squared plus 5x plus 4, and g of x is 2x squared plus 8x. So let's say I have, I'm going to do g divided by f of x. So g divided by f of x means I'm going to do g of x divided by f of x. So I'm going to put 2x squared plus 8x on top. And then I'm going to have x squared plus 5x plus 4 on the bottom. And then the rule here is that we factor whatever we can. The top I can factor because whenever you factor, the first thing you should look for is a common factor. And what do they have in common? 2 and 8 are both divisible by 2, and both of these terms also have an x. So what am I left with if I take 2x out? I'm going to have an x plus 4. Okay, the bottom can also be factored. In order to get x squared, I have to have x and x. It's got to be a plus and plus. In order to get 4, I either have to do 2 and 2 or 1 and 4. And it's going to be 1 and 4. And now look, what do we have in common? X plus 4 cancels out, and we get 2x over x plus 1. Okay, so that is it for lesson 1. Your homework is to do the Unit 7 Lesson 1 homework, all of them, numbers 1 through 9. Just notice that we have 3 functions here, f of x, g of x, and h of x, and make sure you're paying attention to what functions are being used where. Okay? So that is it for this lesson, and we'll see you for the next one.